This is Tracy from GiftBasketAppeal, and today we're going to be making this adorable card for spring, and we're going to be using the Spring Blossom stamp set from Mindless Crafting. So let's get started. So I have been in love with green and blue. I'm going to be coloring in shades of blue, but I've just been kind of loving that color right now. So you might see a lot of that in my projects. I'm going to be using my Tombow markers. So with this stamp set, I'm going to be using this little adorable flower right here. And I'm going to also be using Grow and Blossom as my sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to need a bunch of flowers for this card. And so I'm going to stamp a bunch of these out, and then I'm going to have fun coloring them in. So even if I stamp out some extras and color in some extras, that's great because I can use them on another card. For this one, I think I'm going to need about 12 of these flowers. I'm not sure yet until I start putting it all together. So I like to use all my little white pieces of paper. So this is a great way to kind of play with some colors. And I'm going beyond the 12 because I always want a few extra. Great way to practice your coloring as well. And so I'm going to show you how I would color in one of the flowers, just so you can see the technique. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lighter shade. And this is a great way to just kind of practice your coloring and shading. Just do a whole bunch of them. Try different things with them. But most importantly, have fun. And this is a great stamp for coloring as well. So you can make a ton of these cards. Once you see this layout, you'll have a lot of other ideas that'll come into your head. So I'm starting with the with this light shade of blue, and I'm using my Tombow markers, and then I'm going to use some other darker blues to help do some shadowing, I guess. My coloring technique is nothing fancy, but I still want to keep that let you see what it looks like with me coloring in. So if you wanted to leave it like that, you can, but I'm going to just go in just a little bit darker, and that's the beauty of the Tombow markers, is that you can go in just a little bit darker if you wanted to. And so if you say, hey, that's a little bit too light, just go in a little bit darker, see what happens. So I'm just giving a little bit of an outline. Okay, so now here's another shade of blue. See the contrast between those two? And I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to go just around, just dotting just barely around the center here, or the outside of the center, because this is the part I want to be green. So I'm just kind of showing myself where the shadows would be on this. Maybe right there, maybe. I'm going to color that whole bottom part dark, because maybe I want that whole thing to be a shadow. And if it's not dark enough, I can go in and dot just a little bit more. Fun, fun. So just where the petals meet, just giving that a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm just going to shade it just a little bit right around the outline right there. That way when you're cutting it out, it really has a nice little shading on there. Right around the edge. You can really see a defined edge there. So now if I want, and I don't want these lines on here, I can take, this is my lighter shade of blue, and I can kind of drag that color in a little bit. So there's not like too much of a line there, like a straight line. If you want to blend it, yeah, you can blend it. So you see my coloring technique is nothing fancy. And now here's an even darker blue. This is the one I was using before. Here's an even darker blue. So just so if you want to get really dark in there, I can even go deeper right around those edges there. So yeah, just play with it. You know, stamp out a whole bunch and just have fun. Look at that. See all of that? Right in here, just around areas where I think it might be. Where I think the shadows might be. Right around there. And so you can always go in, if you have too much lines, take your lighter color. And these just work so well together. And I'm just tapping a little bit, just so that I don't have like a whole lot of like lines on there, just to make it like a, I'm just blending basically. No fancy words here. Okay, and so I'm just kind of tapping it out there, like just like this, bringing it out a little bit, getting rid of those lines. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Now if you want to go back in again, you can take your marker and go back in, go around the edges again if you want to darken it up just a little bit more. And I'm just barely tapping the edge. Okay, that's it. Nothing fancy, right? And now I'm going to take my green and just go right in that middle there. Look how pretty those colors look together. My goodness, that green. Wow. And this is pretty easy to cut out. Just going to cut this first one, and then I'm going to go back and cut the rest. Now, if you have like a scan and cut, you could actually, before you color it, you can actually use that and cut them all out. But I'm the queen of fussy cutting. Yep, I love the fussy cut. Or at least y'all say I'm the queen of fussy cutting, you know. But I do love to fussy cut. It's just one of those things that make me feel relaxed. But coloring relaxes me too, so. Okay, so just cutting this out. So could you imagine all the things you can do with these to enhance your cards? How pretty are those? Yep. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out the rest, but look how cute that is. Let me put it on that white paper here. Look how cute that is. Yep. Okay, so let me go ahead and cut the rest out. Okay, so now that all of these are cut out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment in there, Grow and Blossom. And you can do this, I'm going to do it in black because I just like the crispness. You can do it in whatever color you want. And I'm just going to do it this way. But I'm going to show you another style that I did using this same technique. Okay, so this is what's going to have my sentiment on it. And I'm going to frame it with the flowers. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm just going to put some glue right here. not toward the top because I don't want that to come off around here, because I want to pop this up on my card, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm just going to kind of go in and start gluing this down. Do the same thing with this one. So you see what I'm doing? Just kind of lining them up. Just lining them up. I'm going to go in on this one here. And I'm just kind of tucking it in there. Just tucking it in, and I'm going to go across here with it. So let me just show you again. So I'm just trying to line everything up. Let's tuck that one. Let's put that on top so it overlaps a little bit. And I want it to be nice and full. So you see what I'm doing there? So I'll do the sides and then I'll do the top and bottom off camera. So look how full that looks already. Okay, so look how absolutely adorable that looks. See, nothing fancy, I'm just using the paper to outline it basically. So before I add it to my card, let's go ahead and put this together. And you could do it landscape, or you can do it vertical, or horizontal or vertical basically. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and add this to here. So let me get my tape. And that green really enhances it. So remember, in Mindless Crafting, you just kind of do it. If you have the thought and you're not sure that you want to try it, I encourage you to go ahead and try it. And make sure this is centered here. Because you just never know until you try, right? Yeah, okay. Use some of this glue here. This one we're just going to put right there. Now if I want, I could also add my ribbon. Let's see. I'm going to add the ribbon right around the bottom before I even glue this on. I'm going to put some ribbon right here. So this is a great way to use your ribbon. Just put that there, and I'm just using no fancy technique. I just use some tape for this. Just taping it on once I have it lined up. And what I usually do is I'll put just a tiny bit of the permanent crafter's tape right along here. Just a tiny bit to hold that in place. And then we'll bring it around the back. Just like that. So all that thin ribbon that you see in Dollar Tree, grab that up. Because you can really use it to just add that extra something. If your card looks like it's missing something, you can always add some ribbon to it. And look how cute that looks already. Nice and layered here. And now, rather than have this lay flat, I could do that, but just to give it that extra added something, I think it's best that we go ahead and pop it up on here so it really stands out. So y'all have probably seen me do this before. These are my little Dollar Tree pop-up thingies. Mounting tape. And you get a ton of it for just $1. So I don't mind using a bunch of these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and peel off the backing and I'm going to put it on the card. Okay, and before I add this on here, now these are really sticky. I could just add it on just like this. I'm just going to give it just a little bit more. Because with this, with my art glitter glue, I definitely know it's going to be on there. Because this stuff really works. And so let's just put it right there. Look how adorable that looks, popped up like that. So pretty. Now I'm going to take some gems or some pearls. I'm trying to use a lot of stuff that I already have in my stash. And I'm going to go ahead and put some pearls on here. I don't need a whole lot. Right there. Just some little tiny pearls, just to give it something else on here. Look how adorable those flowers. I hope y'all can really see this. And I hope if you get this particular stamp set, I hope you try this layout because it's really a cute layout. And it's super fun to make too. And brighten someone's day, right? Okay, so I'm going to put that there. Now see, I have a little bit of the art glitter glue smeared on here, but it's okay because it dries clear. That's one of the reasons why I like it so much. It dries fast and it dries clear. Okay, so look at that. Oh my goodness, now I can go in around here. I can take just one of these Tumbo markers and I can just take, like this has a tiny little opening if I just want to enhance it in green. And just write a little bit right in the middle there. Right with that open space. I designed this to have that little bit of open space in case you wanted to add a little bit of color in there. Just a little bit. You add some in there. Grow and blossom, and you can do this. This card is any time of the year. Now I have an extra flower left over, and I'm going to just pop that on the inside, in the corner. This flower looks great in the corner of something. So I can put it right here in the corner, and then I could write my sentiment in there. Just like that. Nothing fancy, but that outside looks super fancy. Look how cute that is. Now I can take some of my Nouveau glitter drops and I'm going to just test this out on a piece of paper because I can get heavy-handed and just squeeze the whole bottle out. Okay, and so we're just going to give these a couple of little dots. Oops, see? Just a little bit of dots. See? Clean that up real quick. So let me just go ahead and try this again. Squeeze that out. Yeah, I think I got it now. Squeeze it. Yep, and just let this do its own thing. And this dries really nice. You'd have to just make sure you give it enough time to dry. But once you know how much to squeeze out, it gets better. I'll put some over there. Okay, and another one of my addictions is this crystal stickles. So if you want to make your card pop even more, just go right on the inside of this, right in the middle there, some stickles. And I will leave a list of everything I used below in the description box. Sometimes it's just all about the details. Imagine sending this to someone who's feeling a little bit under the weather, or just because they need some encouragement, right? Perfect card. Oh, I hope y'all can see this. I'll have to hold this up at an angle, even though this one is still drying, but I do have another one to show you. Look how pretty that looks, that blue and green. Hope y'all can see that. So cute. Okay, so let me show you the other card that I did. And I've shown this in a previous video, just kind of giving y'all a preview. Here's the other one. So you can do it either way. Either way. And I just used some of the paper, some little strips, and I just put a strip here and a strip here to decorate inside. Nothing big. I can actually pop a flower in there too. So look how gorgeous these cards are. So I hope this was a super simple idea, easy enough for you to create a really cute card without getting too fancy, but it does look fancy. And remember, this is from the Spring Blossom stamp set. I hope you are enjoying it. If you've received your stamp set already, I hope you're enjoying it. And I will see you real soon. Bye.